Good morning. This is our Introduction to Forensic Engineering by the National Academy of Forensic Engineers.
What is forensic engineering? We have a definition. In short, forensic engineering is engineering applied in the courts. Most of us never thought about serving as an expert in a legal matter until later in life. Some of us started young, and others transitioned into the field as a retirement career. Many started part-time, and their practice grew over time into a full-time practice. Members of the Academy include solo practitioners, what some call single shingle. Others have built organizations with other professionals and staff. One of the rewards of practicing as a forensic engineer, you can operate your own small business and be in control of your life. When you get older, most companies don't love you quite so much. But as a forensic engineer, being older is a plus. Juries will credit you with wisdom and truthfulness.
The areas of forensic engineering investigation are really limitless and are just bound by your experience, your engineering, and your training. And we'll talk about some of the different areas of forensic investigation, but the list that we're going to present is really just a small portion of the possibilities. Structural failures due to a weather event or a construction defect is a common area of forensic investigation. Auto accident reconstruction is another active area for forensic engineering investigators. Issues such as faulty road or signage construction must be considered, as well as the possibilities of driver error, a manufacturing defect, or mechanic workmanship. Construction issues and storm damage assessment is another common area of forensic engineering investigation. Product defects and analysis is another area of investigation. We might have a fire, a flood, or some other type of malfunction that occurred due to a product either not being designed properly or potentially not manufactured properly in accordance with the original design specifications. Forensic engineers also provide fire investigation engineering support for fire investigators who are interested in identifying why the fire had occurred. For events such as electrocutions or electrical fires, electrical analysis may be required. Forensic engineering investigations of all types include materials analysis and metallurgy. Marine structures and aquatics, such as swimming pool accidents, are also another popular area of forensic investigation. Forensic engineering investigators are needed in regards to slip and fall accidents. Your experience, your training, as well as your drive provide you with limitless opportunities as a forensic investigator. Now, what do forensic engineers do in the performance of their duties? This will include everything from reviewing records to investigating and inspecting the site, to perhaps doing testing, independent research, as well as advising the client and potentially preparing a report. All of this builds to the point where you might have to testify at a deposition, or potentially even at a legal trial. Now, your qualifications. Ultimately, it's the judge of each case who decides whether you are qualified to testify at trial as an expert based on any or all of three factors including your education, your training, and your experience. Now, these all have to be relative to the technical subject matter. If the opposing side doesn't think that you're qualified, they might try to get you excluded from the case. Who hires forensic engineers? Typically, it's insurance companies or attorneys. Occasionally, there might be a private citizen that wants to employ your services. However, that's typically done through an attorney that's hired by them as well. Ethical considerations as per the NSPE and the National Academy of Forensic Engineers include a conflict check, a requirement to maintain confidentiality, a requirement to protect your communication, keeping information just between yourself and the client, and also a requirement to stay within your area of expertise. It's important to realize that compensation should be independent of the outcome of the case. Contingent practice, meaning you'll get paid depending on if you win or lose, is really unethical for forensic engineers. What do attorneys look for when hiring a forensic engineer? Well, they look for a solid technical background. They look at your education, your training, your experience. And again, they do not want to hire an expert that has conflicts that might be interpreted as being prejudicial against the other side. You have to be a good communicator, and you also have to have excellent presentation skills. A professional engineer or PhD is preferred. Additionally, testifying experience is also required. Now, as far as employment goes, you don't have to be a full-time forensic engineer in order to be able to perform this type of work. There are part-time forensic engineering opportunities, such as on a per assignment basis. You might be able to assist other forensic engineers, and a lot of engineers start a forensic engineering business as a sideline business to augment their current work. Referral agencies do exist for forensic engineers. Some of these include companies such as the Technical Advisory Service for Attorneys, or TASA, Forensics Group, Thomson Reuters Expert Witness Services, and others. Full-time opportunities for forensic engineering investigation include sole proprietorship, where you own the business. You might be the only employee, you might be one of a few. Some of these have developed into regional firms where there are offices in a small region of the country. There are also national chains that hire engineers and investigators across the country. Here are some of the national firms that exist today.
How long does it take to develop a forensic engineering practice? It depends. Growing naturally without any active marketing, practice can grow gradually through word-of-mouth referrals. Add a nice website with links to some articles you've published. If you build it, they will come. Think of it as a lifetime commitment. You're going to dedicate your professional and intellectual power to solving technical problems in the interest of the public. You're one of the good guys. It takes a career doing engineering to develop a high level of expertise. Now that you have the expertise, how can you make the best use of it? In most other kinds of engineering consulting, your objective is to satisfy the client. As a forensic engineer, you have an ethical obligation to hold paramount the public health, safety, and welfare, among other ethical obligations, while still satisfying your client. Sometimes it can be a challenge. Once you're engaged on a case, the work may occur intermittently over a period of months and years. The typical case takes a couple of years to resolve. In a civil lawsuit, a plaintiff has suffered a loss and seeks money from one or more defendants. All the parties may hire their own forensic engineers to testify as experts. In some large claims, one insurance company might be obligated to pay the claim, but then sues another party to recover some of what they paid or all of what they paid. The other party could be another insurance company. So when a car burns in the garage and burns down the house, who pays? The auto insurance? Homeowners insurance? The auto manufacturer who just released a recall for fires on that model? It creates work for a bunch of lawyers and forensic engineers. Criminal cases tend to engage forensic scientists more than forensic engineers. But for example, criminal charges related to traffic accidents might involve forensic engineers who practice accident reconstruction. There is some overlap between forensic science and forensic engineering, but each are separate disciplines. Engineers use scientific principles, but don't make new science. Forensic engineers practice in all legal venues. Federal cases tend to be larger and follow the federal rules of civil procedure. Some states follow the same rules, and others do not. Since we get most of our courtroom experience from TV, a quick review of the names of the parties might help. Lawsuits play out over months and years. Some jurisdictions move cases at a painfully slow pace, while others, such as the Northern District of Virginia and their rocket docket, keep lawyers and experts working late at night. The field work we do often involves inspections. We take photographs, measurements, video, sometimes using advanced measurement tools, and take these observations back to the office for analysis. Sometimes outside labs are used, and the results are shared with all parties. The principle is that everyone shares all the data. Sometimes you may be asked to visit the location where an incident occurred without notifying the opposing side. Check with your client first. If you do any testing on your own, make sure you do not disturb any evidence. You may also do your own tests to be used as evidence, but these must be well planned and well documented. The federal rules require testifying experts to submit a report with several required components. The format of your report can be whatever you think will make the clearest presentation. If you do not express all your opinions and their bases in the report, new opinions may not come in later at trial. Since additional facts and data sometimes come in after you have submitted your report, it's important to list your sources. A judge may limit trial exhibits to those presented in your report. Your curriculum vitae and list of publications can be appended to the report. This is your federal list, something you'll keep updated, that it needs only the case caption and the jurisdiction. This is usually a fee schedule appended to the report or a short paragraph in the report. Different states use different oaths. Some invoke God, some don't. All witnesses swear or affirm truthfulness, but the attorneys are not witnesses, and they are not sworn to tell the truth. Depositions of expert witnesses occur in most jurisdictions. The experience can be stressful, particularly for your first 100 depositions. Like all kinds of skills, you get better with practice. Most cases never get to trial. Why? There are many reasons, including the high cost and uncertainty of the outcome. Most reasonable people prefer a compromise settlement to avoid the risk of a total loss. Mediation and arbitration are done outside a courtroom, but may involve expert testimony and cross-examination. In the course of a lawsuit, defense lawyers have several opportunities to file briefs and kill a case before it gets to trial. And they try their best. However, if those attempts are rebuffed by the judge and the case gets scheduled for trial, settlement negotiations usually begin. Both sides feel their case strong until they get scheduled for trial. That's when their knees buckle. These are sources of new clients in approximate order of their effectiveness. Some of our members don't like working with expert referral agencies because they add their fee to yours, making you more expensive. However, agencies are a great way to get started. Advertising also brings new clients. Your best source of new clients will be your satisfied old clients. They will recommend you to their colleagues and call you again when the next technical issue comes up. They may even call you for a referral to another expert if the engineering is outside your expertise. They call you because they trust you. If you want to be a forensic engineer, make a website. Check out how other experts present their qualifications and links to useful information. Steal from the best. Your website will be the best source of new clients. You are your own best advertising. Let your friends, colleagues, acquaintances know that you are expanding your forensic engineering practice. Network with other forensic engineers at NAFE conferences. Kevin says it all. If you disclose personal information on social media, opposing attorneys will find it and use it to their advantage. The more they know about you, the easier it is to knock you off balance with their questions. Patent cases also use forensic engineers who have knowledge and experience with the technology at hand. Patent cases need experts who are a person of ordinary skill in the art at the time the invention was made. Trials require rigorous preparation. You need to know all the documents in the file related to your work and where to find them. If you think you would like to try your hand as a forensic engineer, you will want to join the Academy. You will meet others who have a similar set of skills and experience and will learn how to make the best of those qualifications. There are also other resources that provide training, such as SEAK.
So far, you've heard about forensic engineering, what it involves, and what we do. This has been a very condensed presentation. Each of the slides could be expanded into hours of discussion. This part is to introduce you to the National Academy of Forensic Engineers. Who are we? What does it take to join the Academy as a member or member with a capital M, which I'll get into later? And what are the advantages of joining the Academy. So, who are we? We are the National Academy of Forensic Engineers. I'll refer to this as NAFE. I might refer to it simply as the Academy. But what's in a name? Well, we could call ourselves the super special smart folks that look good on the witness stand, but the acronym would be too long. So it's useful to explain each part of our organization's name, and being engineers, of course, we'll do that in reverse order. We are engineers. To become a full member, with a capital M, you must be an accomplished engineer. That means you must be a PE or PEng. You must be a member of NSPE. You must be a member of an additional engineering organization. You must have a minimum of 5 years of professional experience. You must maintain your continuing education units, much like most state license requirements. Becoming a full member is not much different from being licensed by committee, including references from attorneys, adjusters, or upper-level academy members. Besides being engineers, we practice in the world of litigation. That world has additional requirements, which I'll get into more detail later. To be accepted as a full member, your professional experience must include a member of 2 years of forensic practice. You must have 2 trial appearances. That means being testimony under oath in court with a judge present to rule on any challenges. I should describe the various member grades in the Academy. You can be a member of the Academy without being a full member. You could join as an affiliate, which means that you have some interest in forensic engineering and want to learn more. You can join as an associate. To do that, you must be a licensed PE, PEng, EIT, a licensed land surveyor, or registered architect. You must be a member of NSPE. You must have 4 years of professional experience, with 2 of those in forensic practice, and have prepared at least 2 cases. To be a full member, again, a capital M, you must have at least 5 years of professional experience, of which at least 2 are in forensic practice. You must be licensed and a member of NSPE. You must be a member of an additional engineering organization, such as ASCE, ASME, or so on. You must have at least 2 trial appearances. You must maintain your continuing education requirements, or professional development hours, or PDHs. You must go through a vetting interview with a member of the admissions committee. At this and higher levels, you are considered a diplomate of forensic engineering, or DFE. It's not easy to become a full member. To be a senior member, you must have all the qualifications of a full member, but 12 years of professional experience, of which at least 5 are in forensic practice. You must have at least 10 prepared cases and at least 5 courtroom appearances. At this level, you are a resource for other members. To be a fellow, that being the highest grade, you must have been a senior member for at least 4 years. We require a minimum of 20 years of professional experience, 15 of which are in forensic practice. You must have at least 10 courtroom appearances. To become a fellow, you must have also contributed to the Academy, presenting at least 2 papers and participating in the various Academy committees. At this level, you are a steward of the Academy and a resource for other members. You can become a life member after 15 years in the Academy, and if you are basically retired. We want to keep these members since they have extensive experience to share with the younger members. We're a small organization, and we value our experienced members as a resource. Members, senior members, and fellows of the Academy are board certified by the CESB as diplomates in forensic engineering, or DFE. This is unique to the Academy. Well, what is a diplomate of forensic engineering? What is a board certified diplomate? Usually, board certified is associated with physicians, but I'll adapt the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition. An engineer qualified to practice in a forensic specialty by advanced training and experience in the specialty, followed by passing an intensive examination by a national board of senior specialists. The CESB is the Council of Engineering and Science Specialty Boards, who reviews our program, qualifying us, the Academy, to assist in this unique designation. We are the board. But back to our name. Why are we an academy? What's the difference between an association, a society, and an academy? These are not mutually exclusive types of organizations. To better understand, it's helpful to go to Webster's dictionary. An association is simply an organization of persons having a special or common interest. That's pretty simple, pretty basic. A society is described as a voluntary or association of individuals for common ends. This means a little bit more, has a little bit more in their requirements. The distinction of an academy is that, according to Webster's dictionary, is a society of learned persons organized to advance art, science, or literature. This is the definition that best describes the nature of our organization and distinguishes it from associations or societies. Finally, with regards to our name, we are a national organization, which primarily means the US and Canada. We have some international members who practice forensic engineering, but engineering in support of litigation is emphasized much more in the US and Canada. So why should you join the National Academy of Forensic Engineers? To be a full member, you are already experienced in forensic engineering, but what's the advantage of joining the Academy? Simply stated, we can help you become a better forensic engineer. because it's not just the engineering. It's engineering within the litigation framework. In this framework, your mission is to assist the trier of fact, that being the judge or jury. You can assist the trier of fact through your reports and testimony, or through the education of an attorney so that they can explain the technical nuances of a case. As previously mentioned, you'll go through an enormous amount of information sorting out the significant details. Your job is to break down those details into an explanation that a non-technical person can understand and believe. A case can take years and will likely never go to trial. But why don't they go to trial? This is because good experts can explain the technical aspects of a case so that the opposing side fully understands the pros and cons of their own case. It's important to know that the better expert, or the better engineer, does not always prevail. There are a couple of reasons for this. Sometimes this is because the evidence just doesn't favor the client. More importantly, though, an opposing expert may simply be a better witness. By that, I mean they're better at communicating to their client attorney or to a jury. Improving your communication skills is arguably the biggest advantage of joining the Academy for Engineers already involved in forensic engineering. We also share ideas on business practices. These include financial considerations such as retainers and billing, as well as insurance and contracts. Yes, forensic engineers have engagement contracts where we write the fine print. Besides group discussions and education in our NAFE 1 website, we have a mentoring program where we will match mentees with mentors, a one-on-one match. There are some questions that a mentee would be reluctant to ask in an open forum and feels more comfortable asking a mentor. These discussions are private. The topics are typically very fundamental, covering many of the topics in our webinars, but they afford a quicker and more personable response. We do not want mentors to be report reviewers or engineering instructors. The emphasis is more on the unique aspects of being a forensic engineer, the business practices and ethics. The mentor benefits as well as the mentee, since they have to give a considered answer to the questions. We regularly discuss engineering ethics because we are working for advocates who have different priorities. Many attorneys, even experienced ones, do not understand that the forensic engineer is not an advocate. We're challenged on our opinions on a regular basis, that being the nature of the adversarial system, and that's also the job of the adverse advocate. Many times, these ethics discussions are sanity checks. Am I doing the right thing? Or should I have done it differently? And to be clear, among the Academy members, we have varying opinions for certain situations. Among our members, we have thousands of years of forensic engineering experience, and each member has an interpretation for a given situation. So let's recap and review. Who are we? Well, we're the National Academy of Forensic Engineers. What does it take to join the Academy as a member? Depending on your education and experience, there are different grades of membership, from entry level to senior member. What are the advantages of joining the Academy? We can help you become a better forensic engineer, better at communication. Finally, it is worthwhile to review our definition of forensic engineering. This definition was carefully and painfully thought out when the Academy started and has survived to the present day. And I'll just read the first sentence. That is, forensic engineering is the application of the art and science of engineering in the jurisprudence system requiring the services of legally qualified professional engineers. Any questions?